So let's talk about the customer journey, managing it, all that AI driven stuff. How do they actually implement all this? You just discussed part of it, but is there more?
Mhm. So everything we just talked about in terms of SEO, AEO, and GEO is all about optimizing your website so that it can be referenced with the AI engines. Okay, so that's one piece of the puzzle. But now let's assume you're starting to get traffic. You're still getting traffic from Google. You're getting traffic from your referral sources. You're getting traffic from social. Now you're getting traffic from AI. So these website visitors are coming, and the question is, how do we, number one, increase the number of leads that we're getting or sales, whichever, depending on what your website does. And number two is, how do we reduce the time it takes for that website visitor to become a lead or a sale? And this is where customer journey mapping comes in place, or what we call, the journey funnel, the website visitor journey funnel. And in this case, we're using AI. We're using three major tools. Well, four. Number one, you're using AI to track the website visitor's journey within your website and thereby creating that journey funnel for that visitor. And I'll get into the details. Number two, you're using an AI chatbot. And why are you doing that? Because a lot of the website visitors don't want to talk to you yet. They want to first start by getting some information. And if you have an AI chatbot on your website, they're more likely to be able to interact with it and thereby allowing the chatbot to help facilitate having them become a lead. And the third item is heat maps. We need to know where people are clicking within a web page. That's going to help determine what the layout, the call to actions, and how people perceive what you have put together in your web page. So how do we use that to improve our web pages, layouts and buttons and colors and so on and so forth? And last but not least, I'm going to tell you that we need A/B testing. So or ABC testing. You're going to create your homepage, and you might create three or four versions of it, and each version has to be distinctly different from the previous one, so you can get a sense of which one performs better. But those are your four major items when it comes to website journey mapping of your customers and how that facilitates improving having them become leads and having them become leads faster. So this is the game that we need to play in 2026. When we talk about human search, AI summary, social algorithm exposure, email signals, CRM behavior, all these different things are going to play into it. And the concept over here is this. We want to identify what that website visitor is doing, and based on where they are in that funnel that the AI determines, it is going to generate an active call to action. In other words, it gets more aggressive the further down in that funnel that visitor becomes. In other words, the last stage is that they should be in the decision stage. It could be after one visit, it could be after 5 visits or 3 visits. That's the concept of the journey funnel. You're trying to figure out how to get that website visitor to become a lead and do so faster. And we're using the AI tools to make it all happen.
Can you give some examples that simplify what you just said?
So, everything I just mentioned in terms of the journey funnel, I can tell you we have a case study for a client. It's a technology client between 2023 through 2025, a 2-year period. We were able to increase their total lead number using the AI tools in the website by 198%. And I'm being very specific because the numbers didn't actually bring it to 200%, but it got to 198% over that time frame. And it's actually a year over year comparison. Why? Because we used A/B testing, we used heat maps, we used the AI tool to be able to identify the journey funnel. We use active call to actions that it was literally personalizing based on where in the journey that particular website visitor is. So that's one example. That was the CRO lift, or the conversion rate optimization lift. Another one I'm going to tell you is about AI visibility. This is the generative engine improvement. And again, we were using a B2B, different type of B2B company, but essentially improving their AI visibility and getting more AI traffic based on their services pages and using the schema codes and the JSON scripts and making sure it goes into every web page. Literally, that particular project, which was on a much shorter time frame, I think it was around 6, 7 months time frame, we were dealing with a 40% increase in AI activity because of the GEO improvement. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay. I guess the other question that people are going to want to know is what CEOs are underestimating for 2026?
So here's an interesting concept I'm going to throw out. AI, we hear all the fear factor news out there. AI is taking over jobs and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not in favor of the fear factor because the cat's out of the bag. That this cat, the AI cat, is no longer going back in the bag. It's really about figuring out how to embrace this change and move forward. Um, it's kind of like when the internet opened up and businesses still were still struggling trying to figure out what they're going to do on the internet. This is no different. AI is broken out. You need to figure out how to get involved. And what I think is interesting is the concept of taking away jobs is not so much that it's taking away jobs as it is removing laggards. In other words, companies that are still lagging behind the trend that's already out there. Granted, we needed about 12 months in the past to be able to adjust and adapt and for something to prove itself before people made decisions, especially late adopters. Now that time frame has shrunk. It's between 3 and 6 months. You don't have time to lag behind in the marketplace. You don't have time to lag behind your competitors. You need to jump on board. That's the bottom line. And, if companies are still working with 10-year-old marketing strategies and stacks and so on and so forth, I think they're going to have a very difficult time trying to catch up in 2026. I don't have a better way of saying this. The biggest risk in 2026 is not making decisions fast enough. That's the biggest risk in 2026.
All right, why don't you conclude this by offering your practical do this now checklist so that these folks that are watching know what to do? I mean, if you got to move real fast, they need guidance on how to do that. Take it away.
So, number one, and I briefly mentioned this before a few minutes ago, but go to Google, go to your favorite chat GPT, right? Your whatever GPT you want to use, and ask it to identify your competitors. Better yet, don't ask it to identify competitors as much as please recommend companies that mm, make this product or provide this service and see what, and maybe you want to take it one step further and say in the United States, have it come back and take a look at that list. Like I said before, 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, you're not going to show up. Your next question is going to be, why did you not recommend my company? And you might need to tell who your company is, give it your website address, and have it come back to you with reasons why it did not recommend you. You need to take that list of reasons and make it your to-do list, number one. Number two, have your favorite GPT tell you how to work through all that to-do list. Start from the top and work your way down. I think there are two things that you're going to find it always that is very consistent. Number one is that your website doesn't contain the appropriate markup language, the technical um, behind the scenes coding that AI needs. And honestly, that's very easy to do. Like I mentioned before, ask, give your your homepage's web address to GPT, have it give you the schema code and the JSON script. All you have to do is copy, paste it. That takes care of one thing off your list very, very quickly. So the schema code and the markup language, this JSON script, that needs to be on every page of your website. But that's the other to-do list, major to-do list for 2026. Um, the that's kind of the core element over here, right? Is focusing in on what do chatbots need, or I said chatbots, sorry, GPTs need, so that you are referenceable, right? We're no longer talking about rankings. We're wanting to be referenced. And so schema markup is a major item as far as this to-do list is concerned. Um, the other thing is, if you go down this list of different things I mentioned earlier, get an AI chatbot installed into your website. Absolutely important so that people who don't want to talk to you yet can still get answers. Those chatbots help to facilitate making those people become leads too. So that's very important. And you want to take a look at your, building out an AI infrastructure where AI, you're building an AI enhanced lead response workflow. I think I've mentioned this in previous shows too. Something else for 2026, get involved with AI agents and have them create AI based workflows. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to get a lot of work done for you faster. And it is also part of your to do list for 2026.
All right. And how do folks reach out to you to tap into your what your expertise, shall we say?
So number one is you can come to our website. It's smartfindsmarketing.com. And yes, we do have a chatbot there. And yes, we are using AI to track your journey within our website. But you can get more information about what we do. The other thing I always recommend to people is find me on LinkedIn. I guarantee you I'm the only Melih Oztalay on LinkedIn. Connect with me. And if you don't want to connect with me, that's fine. Tag me on your posts. I have over 23,000 followers and growing. Anytime I react and comment on somebody's post, I will be helping you expand your reach. I'm happy to do that, and hope to meet some of you guys on LinkedIn.